Okay, this is strictly notes. You don't have any to do on your own. This is a little bit confusing. Now it says write a formula for the area of this shape right here. So here's what I do when I'm finding writing a formula for the area. I put parentheses, parentheses, no sign in between. It's a times between them. Then what I need to do is, this is called the length and this is the width. The length is around the bottom, okay? So I've got 16 and then there's an x added to the 16. So you got to write this. You don't want to write the 16 first. You want to put the x first and then plus 16. Then the width is the up down part. We have 12 and we're adding x to it. But I don't want to write 12 first. I need to write x plus 12. Now, we're multiplying. Well, when I multiply with x's and variables, I need to make sure they have numbers in front. So that's a 1 and that's a 1. So now I circle the 1x, and then I distribute it to the other 1x and the 12. So I just drew two rainbows. So I go 1x, 1x, times, and times. And we're going to times that to the other 1x, and then positive 12. Okay? And then I can cross out the 1x here because that's done. So 1x times 1x, 1x times 12. Now I repeat the process with the 16. Okay? How many rainbows did I just distribute the 16 to? I did 2. So 16, 16. Then I'm going to times by 1x, and then I'm going to times 12. Okay, don't multiply anything. Okay, you just put the numbers there. Now to find out what these equal, every x we need a power. Okay? So x would be 1 there and 1 here. Here x would be 1. I don't put anything there because there's no x. Okay, nothing there. There's no x, and then a 1 here. And then nothing at all there. There's no x's at all. Okay, so I take 1 times 1. 1 times 1 is not 2. 1 times 1 is 1. And on the x's, I need to add the powers. So 1 plus 1. Now that's 2 right there, so it's 1x to the second power. And then 1 times 12 is 12. And then on the x, we just have the 1. 16 times 1 is 16. Then on the x, we just have the 1. Okay? And then 16 times 12 is 192. But I don't have to worry about any x's because there were none. Okay? Now, I have I have a second power, a first power, and nothing. So the first powers match. Okay? We're going to need to add those together. So I go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x to the second, I have 1. Then x means x to first. So 12 plus 16 is 28. So 28x, and then the 192. And that's the answer. Okay, then the next rectangle. It's a rectangle. Rectangle length and width. Okay, so I have 25 and then x, so it's going to be x plus 25. You want to write x first, then the 25. I have 25 and we're adding x to it. And then we have, for the width, we have 15, we're adding x. So x plus 15. You don't want to do 15 plus x. Okay, so now to multiply, we need to put 1s in front of our x's so we have numbers there. Okay, so the first thing I have the 1x, and I distribute that to the other 1x and then the 15. So I just do 2 rainbows, 1x times, 1x times. We're going to times by 1x, we're going to times by 15. Okay, and then that's the end of that 1x. Now I do the same thing, 25, 25, 25. Okay, so 25 times 1x and 25 times 15. Now I find out these products individually. So on the x's we need powers. So 1, 1, 1, and that doesn't have anything. Doesn't have anything, and then 1. Okay, now find your products. So I take the 1 times the 1, that's 1, and then on x, you go 1 plus 1, and that's 2. 1x to the second. Then 1 times 15 is 15. Then on x, you just have the 1. 25 times 1 is 25. Then on the x, you just have the 1. Then I take 25 times 15 on a calculator, and that's 375. All right, now with that done, I have x to the second, and I have 2x to the first, so those need to be added. Those are like terms, okay? The second and the first can't be added, but if we have 2 that are the first, those can be. So blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x to the second, I have the 1, so 1x to the second. X, 15 plus 25 is 40, and then 375. Okay, now these are not rectangles, they're triangles, but I'm going to set them up in the same manner. I just have to do one thing at the end, okay? Again, see these, they're rectangles. These are triangles, so after I get my answer, I have to do one little teeny bitty thing. Okay, length, width. I treat it as a rectangle. So length, I see 2x minus 1. And then the width would be x plus 3. Now before I multiply, I need to make sure the x's have numbers in front. That is a 2, and that would have a 1 in the front. Okay, now multiplying means you start drawing rainbows. So you start with your first number. So I distribute 2x to 1x and 2x to 3. So I have 2x times, 2x times. And we're timesing it by 1x and positive 3. Okay, now I cross out the 2x, and then I have negative 1. Negative 1 to 1x, negative 1 to 3. You got to remember the 1's negative. So 1x, and then positive 3. So 1, 1, 1, 1. And then nothing. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing here. Okay, so 2 times 1 is 2. Then on the x's, I take 1 plus 1, and that's 2. 2x to the second power. 2 times 3 is 6. And on x, because there is an x, but I just have it to the first. I don't have to add anything to it. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Then on x, I just put the first. And then negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. So these two ended up with identical powers. Okay, so their coefficients need to be added. So the highest power is a 2. So blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So for x to the second, I have 2. Okay, then x to first, I go 6 plus negative 1. That's 5. Okay, and then we have negative 3. However, with a triangle, what you need to do with these big numbers, just the big numbers, is you need to do this again. And a triangle is half of a rectangle, okay? So to make something into half, we divide it by the number 2. So I'm going to put 2's underneath these big numbers, all of them, and divide. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. And then negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 1.5. Now I'm doing that on these problems, but not the first page because these are triangles. Okay, on my next problem, it's a rectangle, or a triangle. Triangle again, so we have to remember that step at the end. So the length, we have 2x, length's the bottom part, we have 2x and 6, so that's 2x plus 6. And then the width, we have x minus 4. Now in multiplication, we're going to want a number in front, so that's a 1. Okay, so I start drawing rainbows. I go 2 to 1, so that's 2x, 2x times 1x, and 2x to negative 4. So I take it times 1x, and I take it times negative 4. We can forget about that. Okay, then I distribute the 6. So 6 times 1x and 6 times negative 4 again. So x is 1, 1, 1 and nothing, nothing and 1, and nothing at all. Okay, so I take 2 times 1, which is 2, and on x I get 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so it's 2x to the second. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and then on x, because there is an x, but it's just to the 1 power. I don't have anything to add to it. 6 times 1 is 6, and then x just to the 1 power. Nothing to add. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. Okay, so again, I have 2 identical powers of x, 1 and 1. So we plus those. Blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x to the second, I have a 2x to the second. Now for x, I have 2 different ones, so I need to add those. Negative 8 plus 6 is negative 2. And then we have our negative 24. Now, this was a triangle, so we have to do it again. And the numbers I put here are all divided by the number 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And then negative 24 divided by 2 is negative 12. Okay, and those are triangles. Okay, still writing the formula for the area. What we have is a centerpiece. It's 14 by 8, but then there's this thing surrounding it, and I don't know how wide that is, so it's x all the way around. Now this is a rectangle, so I will not have to do the dividing by 2. But this is a little different. This is confusing. Now the length is on the bottom, okay? Now here's how to measure the length. Watch this. You want to draw a line that goes across the whole thing, okay? And then you need to mark the points where the centerpiece stops and starts. Okay, so here, here. Again, line through the whole thing and then mark the place where the centerpiece starts and stops. So from here to here is 14. And then the outer parts are x's, both of them, because we don't know. So how many x's did I just write down? 1, 2. So I wrote down 2 x's. 2x plus 14. Now I measure the width. The width is the up-down part, so I might measure the line like this, and I mark the points where the centerpiece starts and stops. Now from here to here, just look around. Oh, it's 8. So 8. And then x, x. So how many x's did I just draw there? There's 2. So 2x plus 8. And now I'm good to go. I can start my distribution by multiplying. So I have 2x. So I distribute 2x to 2x and 2x to 8. Okay, and that takes care of the first 2x. Now I distribute the 14 to 2x and 14 to 8. The same two numbers. Okay, now we have to figure out what our x's are. So x is 1, 1, 1, nothing, nothing, and 1, and nothing at all. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now on the x, you have a first power and a first power, so 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16, and on x, you just have the first power. Nothing to add to it. 14 times 2 is 28, and I see an x, and it's just to the first power. Then I take 14 times 8 is 112. And there's no x's. So again, I have two identical powers here that need to be added. So the highest power is 2. So I start with blank x second plus blank x plus blank. So I have 4x to the second. And then 16 plus 28 is 44. And then we got 112. Now, we're not dividing by 2 because this is not a triangle, it's a rectangle. That's the answer. Okay, my next problem. For the area. This is what we're doing for all this. Okay, so I go across the bottom, I measure the bottom, and I mark the points where the center starts and stops. So from here to here, look straight up. It's 17 units long. And then the outsides are x. So how many x's are across there? There's 2. So it's 2x plus 17. Now for the up-down part, I measure, and then I mark the points where the center starts and stops. So from here to here, look straight across, is 14 units. Then x and x. So how many x's did I just put across there? I put 2. So 2x plus 14. Okay, now I can do my multiplication. I have 2x. I take 2x to 2x and 2x to 14. So 2x is a factor twice. I'm writing it twice because there are 2 rainbows coming from that. And I take it times another 2x and then times positive 14. Cross that out. And now I distribute 17 to 2x and 17 to 14. So 17, 17. So 17 to 2x and 17 to 14 again. So 1, 1, 1 and nothing, nothing and 1, then nothing. So 2 times 2 is 4. Then on x, I have 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 14 is 28. Then x, I have just to the 1. 17 times 2 is 34, and I have x just to the first power. And then 17 times 14 is 238. That is a constant because there are no x's. Okay, and I have a second power, and then these two are both to the first power, so those get added as like terms. So I go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So I have 4 for x to the second. 28 plus 34. It's going to be I believe it's 62. And then 238. Okay. Now for my next one. Well, these are the same kind. I'm going to cross these out because we have some coming up. Don't do these. Okay. Now there's a little word problem. You're designing a frame to surround a rectangular picture. The width of the frame around the picture is the same on every side. The picture is 22 by 20 inches. And these are the problems you're going to be doing tomorrow. 22 by 20, that's a centerpiece. So I put 22 goes down here. So 22, and then the 20 I just put here. Okay, that's how you label that. Now our area. Area, again, we need those two parentheses, and it's a multiplication operation. So I measure the bottom, and then I mark the parts where the middle centerpiece starts and stops. So from here to here is 22. Just look up. And we don't know the outer edges, so X and X. Now, how many X's did I just put there? I put 2. So it's 2X plus 22. Now for the width, that's the up-down portion. Measure it with your own line, and then mark the points where the centerpiece starts and stops. So from here to here is 20, and then these are X again. So how many X's did I just put there? I put 2. So it's 2X plus 20. So I need to multiply this. So I circle the first term and I distribute. So that's two distributions, 2X and 2X. And I take it times 2X, and I take it times 20. And then we can disregard the first 2X. Then I distribute my 22. 22, 22. Now I'm distributing it to 2X, and I'm distributing it to 20. Okay, so now I can figure out what these products are. Make sure the X's have powers. So 1, 1, 1 and nothing, nothing and 1, and then nothing. So 2 times 2 is 4. On X, it's going to be 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times 20 is 40. Then on X, it's just to the 1. 22 times 2 is 44. Then on X, it's just to the 1. 22 times 20 is 440. Okay, now again, I ended up with 2 of the same power, first and first, so I get to add those to simplify it. So the X second is my highest, so blank X second plus blank X plus blank. So X is second, we have 4. And for X, 40 plus 44 is 84. And then I have 440. That's it for part A. Now, part B. You haven't done this before. You want to go on your calculator. Make sure the calculator is ready to go. Find the combined area of the picture and frame at the width of the frame is 4 inches. So what they're telling me, you know those X's up there? It's 4. So the 4 goes in for X. So what I'm going to do is replace the X's with parentheses. So we have 4. Then instead of X, we're going to make a parentheses and put the second power here. Then plus 84. And we're going to replace that X with a parentheses, but no power because there's no power. Plus 440. and we put the number 4 in those parentheses. We're just replacing x with 4. Now, our calculator can figure all this out. I'm able to figure out what this equals. So I go 4. Then I make a parentheses. The parentheses keys are here. So parentheses, and then we're putting a 4 in, and to close the parentheses, you hit this. Now to the second power, your second power is right here. It's this x to the second power key. You just punch it, and then a little 2 pops up. And then plus 84, and then a parentheses, and then 4. Now I close the parentheses, plus 440. I got 840. You know how to bring a calculator. Part B is a cinch. Okay, and then the last problem. A rectangular trivet has a ceramic center and a wooden border. The center is 8 inches by 6 inches, so I put 8 and 6. Part A, write a polynomial that gives the total area of the trivet. So again, area is when I take the 2 dimensions and multiply them. So this is my length. So I measure the bottom part and mark the point where the center starts and stops. And from here to here is 8. And then the edges are x. How many x's are there? There's 2. So 2x plus 8. Now I measure the other dimension. Mark the point where the center starts and stops, and from here to here, look straight across, and it's 6. And x and x. So how many x's did I just put there? There's 2. So 2x plus 6. Okay, now I can multiply. So my first term is 2x. It has to be distributed to 2x and 6. 2x, 2x. Now I'll be multiplying that by 2 things, the 2x and the number 6. Then I have the positive 8. 8 to 2x, 8 to 6. So 8 is being multiplied by 2 things, the 2x and the 6. Okay, now prior to figuring out these products, make sure the x's have powers. So it'd be a 1, a 1, a 1, a 1, and then nothing. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. So 2 times 2 is 4, and then on the x's I take 1 plus 1. That's 2, 4x to the second power. Then I take 2 times 6, that's 12. Then on x, I really just have the 1. 8 times 2 is 16. Then on x, I just have the 1. And then 8 times 6 is 48. So I'm ready to write my product. These two have identical powers, so they will be added. So I go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x second, I have 4. For x the first, so 12 plus 16 is 28. And then I have 48. Once again, this is a rectangle, so I don't need that second part where I divide by 2. Part B. Find the total area of the trivet if the width of the border is 2 inches. So that means that 2 is equal to x. So I'm going to parenthesize these x's and then empty the parentheses. So I have 4 parentheses. I'm going to empty that to the second power. Got to remember the second power or you get the wrong answer. Plus 28 and then another parentheses, but I leave that empty, and then plus 48. And we are going to place 2 in place of the parentheses. With these calculators, we'll be able to find out what that equals. So I have 4 parentheses 2 to the second power. Remember, you got to hit the second power. It's the excess second power key. Plus 28 parentheses 2. No second power there, just here. Plus 48. I get 120. Okay, we'll pick that up tomorrow then.